Hey guys, hello and welcome to another video of Power Automate today. So in today's video, we'll be seeing how can we call APIs in Power Automate. We'll be seeing different functions in API. We will be calling all the APIs from the Cloudflow. We'll be using a fake web API. I'll be showing you what API will be calling, what data we'll be getting. We'll also see how can we save that API data into a CSV, right? So let's get started. So what I'll do is I'll quickly create an instant Cloudflow and I'll call it as Power Automate API, and I'll use my favorite old designer. Okay, so in here for API we have one action which is with the name HTTP here. So here we have HTTP. We'll use this action to call our API. Right. So for API we have this fake API website called Swagger UI. Here we have different REST APIs, right, for activities, author, books, photos, user. So we have fake data here. We will be using the book API, right? So first function is get function. Get function is basically if you want to get the data or you want to read the data using the API, right? So here if I click try it out and I click execute, right, so it has given me this data, right? And if you want to see the data, I'll just copy this URL and paste it here. So here we have all the data which is stored in this website, right? Now how do you call this into your Power Automate? So I'll copy this URL, right, and in the method I'll use get URI is my this. Now since this is get function, it is not required to give the headers, although if you see here in header we have accept text plain. I'll not give this header for now and we'll just save and test this. Okay, I'll just test this manually. Test. Right, so flow has completed successfully, and if you see the output and if you see the status code is 200, which means it is successful, and we have the server name and we have the content type default is application.json, right? And you see here we have all the books and this is an array starts with the square brackets. See, we have all the data of this using the API. So this is how we call API, and in the API we have this get function. Now let's say that we want to call only the first book, right? So for that, if you see in below, we have this. So book slash the ID of the book. So let's say that I want to have the fifth book, and let's just test this. Right, so now I have the status code is 200, that means it is successful. And here if you see I have data from the fifth book, right? If you say book 5. Okay, now we are done with the get method. Now we'll see how we can use a delete method. So for delete, if you go down, you have the same API URL which is of get a particular book, right? So what I'll do is I'll just use delete and I'll just test this. Okay, so it worked within seconds, and if you see, it will not give you as output, but since this is a fake uh, fake API, so it will not be updated here. But if you see here, the status code is 200, which means that the record has been deleted successfully, right? So this is how we use get and delete method in the HTTP when we are calling API through Power Automate Cloud. Now we'll see how the post works. So basically, post is when you want to add a new data to your API or to your database, right? So for post, if you see here, the URL is same as that of get, right? And if I test it out, you see the request body here. We have to give all the required fields that we want to add or which are required by the API, right? So if you see here, we have the same URL, right? So what I'll do is I'll copy the input data what which I want to give, which will go into the body. So ID I'll say, title I'll say book, description is anything you like, page count I'll say 200, sub I'll say mm, action, and publish date let it be. Now in the headers, if you see in here headers, we have content type as application.json, right? Because we are given the data in the JSON format. So I'll give my content type as application JSON and like this, right? And now I'll just test this one. Okay, so it has failed. Let us see the error here. You go with the output status code 405, and if you read the error here, it says that allow delete get put, right? And the status code is 405. That means that our URL is incorrect. So if you see here, the URL is to update. If you want to update, right? For for posting new data, our URL is still books only. So I'll just test this one. Run flow and done. Right. So this time it is successful, and you see our status code is 200 and our data has been added successfully. Right now the last method that we have is the put method, right? So put, so post is used to post new data, and put is used to update some data, right? So in order to update, we should have the book ID, right? So if I click execute for the first book ID, right? So it has successfully updated this, you see. Now for this, I'll just copy the request body, or I'll just change the URL. Let's say I want to change first one, and I'll keep the body as it is, right? And I'll just save this, and I'll just test this one. Okay, let's see what is the error. We have delete get put allowed. Okay, we have not, I think, changed our method. See, I'll just use put test, save and test. Right, so my flow is successful. It has successfully updated the data for the first book ID, right? So now we also have one more method which is called patch. Basically the difference, patch and put are basically same. The only difference is put is used, when we use put we have to give all the data, right? ID, title, description, page count. For the patch, if you want to update only the title, you give only title, so only the title will be updated. So this is the only difference, right? So this is how we can use different methods of API in the Power Automate Cloud Flow. Now we'll see how can we save this data into a CSV file, right? So I'll just delete this one. One more thing, if your website uses the authentication, then you can You can use the authentication, right? So basic, or you have active directory, you have client certificate or raw. For example, in Jira we have basic authentication where you need to generate your API credentials, right? You cannot directly use credentials, and in that case what you give is you give your username and you give your client secret. I think it gives you here, you enter that password, and then only will be able to fetch the data. Since this there is no authentication in this website, so we are using authentication as none, right? So okay, moving forward, now if you want to save this all data into a CSV, what I'll do is uh, I'll just first run this one. I'll just give it a test. Now we have this. What I'll do is I will just copy this data and click edit. And now what I'll do is I'll just use parse JSON to parse the values, right? I'll generate from sample. I'll paste those values here, click done, and from the body, let's say. So what this parse JSON will do is so we have the output. For example, we have the output as ID, title, description, page count. So what this will do is this will separate these entities, right? So I separate this entity, what I mean is I'll just show you. Let me just run this. Now if I click edit and new step, now if you see in the output I have these entities separated. For example, I have different ID, page count, title, description, excerpt, published date, I have item, body, right? So the entities from, so what parse.json has done is it has separated the entities from the output of the previous step, right? So this is what uh, parse.json has done, right? So what I'll do is just uh, delete this, and okay, I'll use CSV, right? I'll use create CSV table, and I'll use from, I can use body of parse.json also, and here I'll use automatic, and I'll just click test, right? So what this create CSV has done is it has converted my data into a comma separated values, right? So this will be very easy for me to write it down in a CSV file. Now in order to write this down in a CSV file, I'll use file system here, and I'll use create file, right? I'll use folder. So now it may be possible, or it will be possible, that you will not get this screen directly, right? Instead you can get this screen, right? So I have created separate video previously on how to create or how to get your data gateway created to so that the Power Automate can interact directly with your file system locally, right? You just need to install this gateway, right? I have given you a link in the I section above. You can go and watch that video. We have some troubleshooting steps also, right? So once you have created your gateway, all the connections are being done, then you will get this folder. So I'll use this folder. I'll just click on this icon and file system, whatever file, whatever path I have mapped, it will show me path from there, right? So let me choose a different connection. Okay, and I'll use Gemini and I'll give as output.csv, and content of the file will be output. And I'll just click test and save. Okay, so this is being completed. Now let's go to our, so here we are at our local folder Gemini, and if you see, the file has been recently created with the name output. And if you see output, our output has been created very well. If you see all the description, title, book, we have 200 books, we have published dates, and all these things are available here. Okay, I'll just close this file, don't save, and I'll go back to my show. Okay, so this is how you can call your API, and this is how you can save your file to this local system. Okay, I hope you like this video, and before closing, I would like to give you one homework that you can do is, now before creating file, you just have to use a select function, right? I'll show you where is the select function. In the data operation, we have this select function. So this is a homework for you, or you can just pause the video here and try it out from your own. What you have to do is change the headers, right? Change the headers of your file which you are creating using the select function, right? So I hope you like this video. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Till then, bye. Happy automation.
Share, and subscribe if you like the video, and follow for more.